Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm 27, and I work as a paramedic in Chicago. My life shaped by the adrenaline of emergency responses and the compassion needed to save lives. My hair is always pulled back in a tight ponytail, and my eyes often reflect the intense moments of life I've witnessed. I was always the one rushing into the chaos, not just to save lives, but to make a difference in the darkest moments. My days are split between the station and the city streets, where I've learned that every second counts, and every person has a story. Then there's Dr. Nathan Lee, a seasoned emergency room physician at the hospital where I often end up bringing patients. He's in his late 30s, with a calm demeanor that contrasts sharply with the high-stakes environment we work in. His hair is peppered with gray, a badge of his experience, and his eyes carry a depth of understanding that I've rarely seen. Our paths crossed one stormy night when I brought in a critical patient. The ER was in chaos, but Nathan was the eye of the storm, directing everything with precision. That night, I saw him not just as a doctor, but as someone who shared my passion for saving lives. Over time, our professional interactions turned into something more. We started sharing coffee during those brief moments of calm, discussing not just medical cases, but life, loss, and the thin line we both walk between saving and losing. Nathan had a way of speaking that made the complexities of life seem manageable, and I found myself drawn to his wisdom. Our relationship was like a secret code between us, understood only in the glances we exchanged over gurneys or in the quiet moments after a shift. We were careful, knowing the professional boundaries we had to respect, but the connection was undeniable. One evening, after a particularly grueling shift where we saved a young boy's life together, I found myself in Nathan's office. He was looking out the window, the city lights reflecting in his eyes. He turned to me, and without words, we both knew we needed more than professional camaraderie. From then on, our relationship deepened. We'd meet after shifts, sometimes just to sit in silence, appreciating the peace after the storm. We explored the city, finding quiet places where we could be more than our jobs, where I could be Sarah the woman, not just Sarah the paramedic. But with every secret comes risk. Our colleagues began to notice our closeness, and whispers started. We knew we had to address it, not just for us, but for the integrity of our work. Nathan, ever the problem solver, proposed we talk to the hospital administration to ensure our relationship wouldn't compromise our professionalism. The meeting was tense, but our dedication to our jobs was clear. We were allowed to continue our relationship with the condition that our work would remain unbiased. This openness brought a new layer to our bond, no longer hidden, but part of who we were together. As months turned into years, our lives became more intertwined. We moved in together, our home a sanctuary from the chaos of our jobs. We'd spend evenings debriefing not just our day's traumas, but sharing hopes for the future, maybe even starting a family one day. The final twist in our story came when I decided to go back to school for advanced medical training, encouraged by Nathan. We supported each other through this new chapter, knowing that together we could face any challenge, be it a life-threatening emergency or the complexities of love in the high-pressure world of medicine. As I juggled my paramedic work with evening classes, Nathan became my rock. He'd quiz me on medical terms during our quiet dinners, turning our kitchen into a makeshift study room. His support wasn't just emotional. He made sure I had the time and resources to succeed. One chilly autumn night, after a particularly intense lecture on trauma care, I came home to find Nathan had set up a small celebration. He'd cooked my favorite meal, and there was a banner congratulating me on surviving the first semester of my advanced studies. It was these small moments that made our relationship feel like home. The next part of our journey was unexpected. A major hospital in New York offered Nathan a position as head of the emergency department. It was an honor, a significant step in his career, but it meant moving away from Chicago, our city, our life. We talked long into the night about what this could mean for us. After much discussion, we decided to take the leap together. Moving to New York was daunting, but the excitement of a new beginning was intoxicating. We found an apartment near Central Park, where we could watch the sunrise after night shifts, a new ritual in our life. In New York, I continued my studies, now at a prestigious medical school, and started working part-time at Nathan's hospital. Our professional and personal lives were more intertwined than ever. Working alongside him gave me a new perspective on medicine, and I thrived under his mentorship. However, adapting to a new city wasn't without its challenges. The pace of New York was relentless, and sometimes it felt like we were losing the quiet moments we cherished. But we learned to carve out time, whether it was a quick coffee in the hospital cafeteria or a walk in the park. One evening, after a successful emergency procedure we both worked on, Nathan took me to the rooftop of our apartment building. There, under the city's starless sky, he proposed. It wasn't just a ring he offered, but a promise to continue facing life's emergencies together, both at work and at home. With a yes, we started planning our future, now with the added joy of wedding preparations. Our colleagues, who had once whispered about our relationship, now celebrated it. We decided on a small, intimate ceremony in Central Park, surrounded by the city that had become our new home. As I neared the end of my studies, I began to think about my career path. With Nathan's encouragement, I applied for a residency at the same hospital, envisioning a future where we could work side by side indefinitely. The acceptance letter felt like another milestone in our shared journey. But life in medicine is never straightforward. One night, while on call, we faced a crisis that tested us both personally and professionally. A multi-vehicle accident brought in numerous casualties, and we had to work not just as partners, but as a cohesive medical team. That night, we saved lives, but it also solidified our bond. We were in this together, for better or worse. The final part of this chapter came when we decided to start a family. Balancing our demanding careers with the prospect of parenthood was daunting, but with each other's support, we felt ready. As we looked forward to this new life we were about to create, I knew that no matter what emergencies came our way, we'd face them together, with love, commitment, and the shared passion that had brought us this far. As we prepared for parenthood, we transformed our apartment into a more family-friendly space, with books on pediatric medicine joining our medical texts. Nathan and I took prenatal classes together, learning about childbirth and parenting, blending our professional lives with our personal growth. One early morning, after a particularly long shift, I felt the first signs of labor. Instead of panic, there was an immediate shift to a calm, professional mode we were both so accustomed to. We knew exactly what to do, and soon we were on our way to the hospital, where Nathan had prearranged everything. Our daughter, Lily, was born under the fluorescent lights of the emergency room where we spent so much of our lives. The moment she was placed in my arms, the world of medicine and emergencies faded into the background. Nathan, standing beside me, had tears in his eyes, a sight I'd rarely seen. Returning home with Lily introduced us to a new kind of chaos, one filled with love, sleepless nights, and endless diapers. Our schedules became more complicated, but we managed by taking shifts, much like we did at work, ensuring one of us was always with Lily. The next part of our story was when I decided to step back from full-time work to focus on Lily and my studies. Nathan supported this decision wholeheartedly, ensuring I had time for both family and my medical career. This period was about finding balance, something new for both of us. As Lily grew, we found ourselves discussing the future, not just of our family, but of our careers. We dreamed of opening a small clinic together, one where we could practice medicine with a focus on community health, family care, and preventive medicine. One day, while browsing local properties, we stumbled upon an old townhouse that could be converted into our dream clinic. With excitement, we began the renovation process, turning our vision into reality. Each brick laid was a step towards our shared future. The clinic opened to the neighborhood with a modest ceremony, where we invited our colleagues, friends, and the local community. It was a proud moment, seeing our names on the sign, Lee Family Clinic, representing not just our medical partnership, but our life together. Lily took her first steps in the clinic, making our workplace feel even more like home. She became our little helper, handing out stickers to patients, her laughter echoing through the halls, bringing joy to even the most challenging days. But with every new beginning, there are challenges. Running a clinic was different from working in a hospital. We had to manage staff, finances, and the unique cases of a community practice. Nathan and I had to learn new skills, from business management to patient advocacy, but we did it together. One evening, we decided to take a family trip to the countryside, seeking a brief respite from the city's hustle. There, under the vast, starry sky, we talked about our life's journey. Lily, now more aware, asked about the stars, and we shared with her our love for science and healing. Back in New York, our clinic started gaining recognition for its community approach. We were invited to speak at conferences, sharing our model of integrating family life with medical practice. These opportunities allowed us to grow not just as doctors, but as educators. As Lily approached school age, we faced another decision. Where would she go to school? We chose a local school that valued community involvement, hoping to instill in her the same values we cherished in our clinic. The next part of our story was marked by Lily's first day of school. Seeing her in her little uniform, excited yet nervous, was a moment of pride mixed with the bittersweet realization of how quickly time passed. We both took the day off, spending it at the school, volunteering and meeting other parents. Our life continued to evolve with Lily's growth. We watched her thrive, her curiosity about the world mirroring our own when we were young in our careers. We started involving her in small medical projects at the clinic, teaching her about health and wellness. As we approached our 10th anniversary, we planned a special trip back to Chicago, where it all began. It was a time to reflect on how far we had come, from the chaos of emergency rooms to building a life filled with love, family, and a shared purpose. The final part of this chapter was when we received an offer to expand our clinic model to other cities. It was an opportunity to spread our philosophy of care. After much discussion, we decided to take on this new challenge, knowing that with each other, and now with Lily, we could manage anything life threw our way. As we started planning the expansion of the Lee Family Clinic model, the scale of the opportunity became evident. The organization offering to support our model envisioned clinics in underserved neighborhoods across the country. It was a chance to make a lasting impact on healthcare, but it also meant stepping out of our comfort zone. Nathan and I divided the responsibilities. He focused on the clinical operations, while I tackled community outreach and staff training. This new phase required extensive travel, meeting with local leaders, and understanding the unique needs of different communities. Despite the added workload, we made it a family affair. Lily, now a curious and energetic 6-year-old, often accompanied us on trips, bringing her charm to every meeting. She loved asking questions, her innocent curiosity reminding everyone why we were doing this in the first place, for a better future. With success came scrutiny. As the Lee Family Clinic model gained traction, media attention followed. Interviews, features in medical journals, and even a documentary crew filming our work became part of our daily lives. While we were grateful for the exposure, it also brought pressure. Balancing the media demands with running clinics and raising a family tested our patience and time management. One particular interview asked about the challenges of maintaining our marriage in such a high-stress environment. Nathan smiled and said, "We don't maintain it, we nurture it. Just like any patient, it needs attention and care." The answer resonated deeply with me, reminding me of why we worked so well together. But it also pushed us to prioritize our relationship amidst the chaos. We started scheduling regular date nights, sometimes as simple as sharing a quiet dinner after Lily went to bed. As we grew our clinics, we faced unexpected obstacles. Some locations struggled to attract enough patients due to a lack of trust in the healthcare system, especially in rural communities. Nathan and I traveled to these areas ourselves, sitting down with patients and local leaders to understand their concerns. It was exhausting, but each conversation made our approach stronger, more empathetic. Eventually, things began to turn around. We built relationships and credibility, and the clinics started thriving in the communities that needed them most. But with success also came new responsibilities. We found ourselves frequently being called upon for speaking engagements and asked to lead workshops on healthcare reform. It was gratifying to see our work being recognized, but it also meant more time away from Lily. Our personal lives began to reflect the growth of our work. Lily, now old enough to understand the significance of our efforts, started asking more complex questions about medicine and the world. One evening, as we sat around the dinner table, she said, "When I grow up, I want to help people like you both do." It was a moment of pride and an acknowledgement that, even though we worked tirelessly, we were instilling the values we cherished in the next generation. Our growing family also faced a new chapter when we learned we were expecting another child. While we were overjoyed, we also knew that it would require us to make adjustments, especially with the clinics expanding. I had to take a brief step back from travel to focus on Lily and the baby on the way, but Nathan's support was unwavering. He made sure I had everything I needed to transition smoothly into this next phase of motherhood. As we prepared for the birth of our second child, we found ways to share responsibilities without compromising our vision for the future. It was a delicate balance, but we both knew we could lean on each other. The night our son Jack was born, Nathan held my hand through it all, just as he had with Lily. There, in that hospital room, surrounded by the chaos of a new life, I felt the same certainty I had felt when we first met. We were in this together, no matter what the future held. The arrival of Jack brought a new sense of purpose to our lives. As a family, we took on the challenge of balancing our expanding careers with the needs of 2 young children. The chaos of the emergency room felt like a distant memory compared to the chaos of a growing family, but our shared experiences gave us the resilience to navigate the demands of both work and home life. In the midst of it all, we continued to pursue our dream of expanding our clinic model to more cities. We took on the challenge of scaling our vision, working long hours, but always coming back to the love and support we gave each other. Each new clinic felt like another brick in the foundation of our legacy, one that would continue long after we were gone. Our efforts eventually led to the opening of the first international clinic in Mexico City. This marked a significant milestone in our careers, and we couldn't have been prouder. As we stood at the clinic's ribbon-cutting ceremony, with Lily and Jack by our sides, it was a symbol of all we had accomplished together. The journey had been long, and at times difficult, but we had done it as a family, always with our shared purpose of making healthcare more accessible and compassionate. We found balance in our growth, making sure to pause and savor the moments that truly mattered. Whether it was a family outing to Central Park, quiet evenings at home with our children, or simply sharing a look across the dinner table, we always came back to the core of what we were building together, a life full of love, dedication, and service to others. As our 10th anniversary approached, we realized just how far we had come. We had expanded our clinics, supported one another through countless challenges, and raised 2 beautiful children. Our family was our greatest accomplishment, but our work would continue, always driven by the values that had brought us together in the first place. And as we looked to the future, we knew that no matter where life took us, we would face it together.